in Group A. And we welcome you to Cary this morning on Field 1. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Sika. Well, there is nothing quite like what's come about in the last 3 years. This is the Coachella of soccer. Clubs from all around the world, and you don't have to necessarily be a field player standout to succeed. Case in point, the defending champs, La Bombonera, named after a soccer facility in Newcastle, Delaware. They shined last year in the tournament, defeating Nani in the final, and mainly consisted of small-sided soccer players throughout the United States and in Mexico. Looking forward to a great one here today to start our competition. Now, we need to remind you a little bit about the rules because they are different from normal field soccer. We play 7-on-7. We have 20-minute halves. There's no offsides or throw-ins. Every match, though, this is the rub, ends in target score time. And what that means, the team leading after 40 minutes, add +1, and that's what you play to. You have to end on a winning goal here in the competition. So the lineups today for our Group A matchup to start at La Bombonera, where Mojica had such an excellent tournament last year, along with Sanchez for the defending champs. And they are the hunted this season, and mainly because a lot of their players from last year were looked at by other teams in this 48-team tournament and have moved on to play elsewhere. Now, Abarrotera Hidalgo is an interesting story. They were part of Liga Foot 7, and they split off right before the start of the competition. So this group that's primarily consisted of players from outside of Puebla, down outside of Mexico City, and played in what is known as a cornfield, Las Canchitas, and they will take shape tonight. And they've got the Ecuadorian international Walter Iovi, who's their key player, wearing number 10. Filing in on an early morning in Cary, North Carolina. Great weather is expected today. Abarrotera Hidalgo in the hoops shirts. And there are the defending champs, La Bombonera, where they were downright dominant when it came to the knockout rounds, only conceded 4 goals on their path to the title, and then a 4-0 win in the championship for the $1 million prize. 3rd year of the competition, biggest ever, 16-team women's field, 48 men's teams competing for the $1 million prize. 7-on-7 for 7 figures. Adonis Alawar is our referee outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. La Bombonera, the fanfare and excitement for their run, rocketing into the social media stratosphere right after they won that game, Chad Porch's tournament-winning goal. And now they are the hunted, the defending champs, kicking off and underway. Jean-Claude Ramirez, who started the last 5 games of the tournament in goal for La Bombonera, he gets the go to begin here the competition. There's a new rule in place, and one of the primary ones is you can't sit on the ball like this for longer than 8 seconds. You have to play a progressive pass, and they'll be mindful of that. Trying to eliminate stall tactics. We'll bring you up to speed with the game progressing. Great to be with you this morning, and the tournament is underway. This is Group A. Aovi throws that big frame around to win possession for Abarrotera Hidalgo. There's been some spats between them and Foot 7. Feeling that Foot 7 grabbed up all of the best players from what was a conjoined team. But now Abarrotera Hidalgo would like to change that narrative. Lots of passion. Aovi really sets the tone for the group. His leadership amongst a lot of players who have played small-sided. It's turned over here, and the opener belongs to La Bombonera. Luisinho. Sanchez had a goal in the tournament last year, and he starts the competition with the opening goal. 2 minutes in. Luis Sanchez, who goes by Lucinho. He's the captain. Played for Pachuca and then had some loan stints all throughout Mexico. That's exactly how you draw it up if you're the defending champs. And their pressure, where they were so good in small spaces, there's really a subtlety to the craft of excelling in this tournament. And it's kind of an eye-opening agenda if you're normally used to field soccer and the operation of the tactics and how to go about your business in creating scoring chances. It's Ramirez. There's still a healthy dose of players that returned from last year's championship team from La Bombonera, but they feel they're even more competitive and a better, well-rounded squad heading into 2025. Out of the back, Abarrotera, Hidalgo. See how they measure up in the early going. It's one of the main grabs of defending in this tournament. You can sit back and then essentially you're waiting for a team to make a mistake. Get them out in transition. Alexis Rios, familiar with foot 7 in Puebla. Monterrey Flash, so the major arena soccer league, and referencing the small-sided games, whether it be futsal, foot 7, the Kings League, MASL, which is big in the United States. 117 MASL players will feature in the men's competition. That's a record number. A layoff here, and a slow roller. You can see the dew from this early morning, but the field's in fantastic condition. This is one of the great soccer areas of the country. The Raleigh Soccer Triangle here in Cary. Multiple national championships hosted across the board. Both men's and women's soccer in the collegiate game. Ramirez, La Bombonera. At the start they craved, got a goal 2 minutes in from their captain, Lucinho. The second ball in midfield, Cervantes. Speaking of MASL, he played for the Monterrey Savage. Jam to win that ball by Miguel Felix. Early morning rise for both these clubs. Bombonera, they wanted to get straight to it. The first action of the day. Here in rest defense. Ito Ramirez keeps a close eye. There it's one back by Felix. Ramirez stalked a little bit under pressure. Gives it away. Once again, no throw-ins. And there's no offside, of course. So that's a subtlety that when you come in for the first time, like a Abarrotera Hidalgo, and a lot of these players are used to those type of rules, but the runs in behind, you have to be on the ready at all times. Full day of competition here to start. Group stage play today and tomorrow. Looking into the knockout competitions on Friday and Saturday. ESPN will televise the finals, the men's and women's competition. U.S. women are back looking to repeat after their victory. The North Carolina Courage last year. Juarez. Abarrotera, Hidalgo. Just a measured approach. There's not been much in terms of breaking that last entry ball, and that's due to the tenacious nature of how La Bombonera covers ground defensively. Substitutions are on the fly. For lack of a better comparison, you get hockey shifts, almost 2 minutes at a time, 3 minutes, and then full sail reinforcements that come in. They look for the ball over the top, and it floats over the head of Edgar Gonzalez Diaz. He was a player in Monterrey's academy, U19 player, and another one that's been part of the MASL equation with the Monterrey Flash. Tehuacan is the actual town name for where a lot of these players hail and play for Abarrotera, Hidalgo. Hard foul in the midfield. Almost halfway through this first half. See at the top of your screen on the right corner that games that are also in action are playing out. Another early kickoff, and that's also in Group A. So you've got these two clubs that were conjoined at the hip, essentially, with Liga Foot 7 and Abarrotera Hidalgo playing in the same group. And the Mississauga Dolphins round out Group A, but they've had two incarnations, or two different names, their first 2 years. Sport League Canada in year 1, where they made the final and lost to Newtown Pride. So a lot of the similar pieces from that Canadian outfit return. So it's a good, stingy Group A. And a stingy start in this game. Bombonera really has not faced a ton of threat. They had the opening goal after 2 minutes. Substitution pattern change here. And there was also goalkeeper interference. You can't screen the goalkeeper. If you're even playing from your own defensive half, you can't loiter as an offensive player in the opposition's penalty area, which restarts things with an indirect free kick, which we see. Ramirez gives it up at midfield, and it's pumped over. Can't score directly off of a kickoff, but we've seen midfield goals and some phenomenal theater even from the goalkeepers in past tournaments going back to last season. 65 yards long, 45 yards wide, the dimensions of a TST field. Ramirez facing a little bit of that pressure. The layoff comes from Aldo Monzones. He's a new player this year for La Bombonera. They really do have an elite scouting network going across the country, watching players in Kings League and MASL, small-sided games. Put together some reinforcements on the roster. They did have their preseason camp at the actual La Bombonera, or pre-tournament camp. Monzones running off to the side after he was the one down. The 31-year-old played in the second and third divisions in Mexico. So a free kick here after the foul. Turnover in midfield, and a goal 2 minutes in by Lucinho is the difference in the game right now. Intricate interplay of passing, and then the shot going over. That's Javier Gallegos. They call him Pony. The Kings League he was a part of. Kings League is around on the different continents, Europe and here in the Americas. It's the 7-on-7 competition. We played on the Kings League side in here in America. And that last chance, there's one. It goes from Alonso Hernandez, who was one of the players of the tournament last year. 6 goals and 2 assists, 8 goal contributions on the run to the championship. He was last playing with Herediano a season ago in Costa Rica. That's the beauty of this. Yes, there's plenty of guys that are in season in small competitions, but also a lot of illustrious resumes for field players. It's given over at midfield. Abarrotera Hidalgo, they've tried to play the ball over a couple of times over the top. Those penetrating runs and the breakdown, the block haven't been there. That's smacked at Ramirez, who denies with the save. Shot from Jose Azuregi. Azuregi with the first shot on goal, 13 minutes in for Abarrotera Hidalgo. It's a slippery back pass. Just in the nick of time over is Felix to clean it up, but that's some good pressure from Abarrotera Hidalgo. They are clearly the underdogs, the challengers in this game. Here's the setup, looking for Iovi. Slipped and fell, and then Ramirez watching that shave along the near side. Alexis Rios tried to play his way a couple of times here in the first half for Abarrotera Hidalgo. They're coached by Luis Borrego Flores. Well, you'd have to say that they'd be just fine where things are right now, but a shot and a rebound given up, and La Bombonera knocking on the door. Good recovery in defense. And now the reset comes. Raivia back over to Felix. Jean-Cap Ramirez. That's a good play by Carlos Carrillo Hernandez to win it at midfield. There's the fulcrum, the nucleus of this group. Walter Iovi, he's 45 years young. He's playing for Barcelona of Ecuador, that is, which is the famed club there. 121 times he's played for Ecuador, 2 World Cups. His team adjusting to the rhythm a little bit. Hung tough, that's last off of La Bombonera. Off the restart, floated at Ramirez, he spilled it. Rios wants to run at the defense. Felix took it away. That transition was on, but the passing sequence from Champai, Luis Carlos Esteban, there are all these nicknames for La Bombonera. And they've earned the right to call themselves that with the way they played last season. Scrap in the middle, and now Ramirez will settle the dust. 4 minutes remaining here in the first half. Bombonera ran roughshod in the knockout rounds. Pasha Luxury Saturdays, a very stingy Indiana alum group. The Hoosier Army was their opponent in the semifinals. Wore them down to win 3-1 and then beat Nani 4-0. 2 goals in the second half, and then Chad Porch had the $1 million goal in target score time. Of course, we've got a new wrinkle into the fold for those who win a game this year in target score time. The Golden Fleece, which will be presented at the conclusion of the game. And every game-winning goal scored, the Golden Fleece is presented. And it will include entry to the soccer tournament in perpetuity. So you can walk around big man or big woman on campus here. Celebrate the spoils of the achievements. It is the signature moment of this competition. Target score time. A couple of jousts in the midfield before it's settled down by Lucinho. He's the goal scorer. And his lead pass right at the top edge. This has been a scrap and a cagey affair at times here in the first half. Gotta get loose, get those sea legs going at 8 a.m. Eastern kickoff time. Often a strategy where you really need goalkeepers who are great with their feet, they're comfortable in the field, almost acting like another outfield player in their advancement. A lot of teams realize that after year one. You got to get a mobile goalkeeper who can make decisions and spray passes from the back. The latest run ends at the feet of Ramirez. Here's the push for Gaito. New addition for La Bombonera. Boy, he's a good one. One of the best over the last decade in Liga MX. Best 11 in the Clausura in 2018. He played on a World Cup with Mexico in 2014. Look at Vianney Ruiz Mendez for Abarrotera Hidalgo. Got some competition in the States with the San Diego Sockers and NPSL. Hidalgo won a corner there. It's dealt with, and La Bombonera back into the fold. A kind deflection is put home right in the middle. It's 2-0 La Bombonera. Eduardo Garay dents the net for the second. Defending in their own penalty area. And then Gappy is Abarrotera Hidalgo. Oftentimes goals come off mistakes. And a clearance that never was, and right in the path of Garay. Chihuahua Savage, his main club with Major Arena Soccer League. And that is a huge goal right before the half, and now they're going again. Gallegos, the pony, leaves it along before it's tucked away. Manzonis was drifting along on that near touchline. Full day of action. I'm glad you're aboard for it here to kick off year 3. That incising pass, Manzonis was there and he left it back for a razor hit by Fabrizio Tavano, and that brings us to the end of the opening 20 minutes. And La Bombonera picking up right where they left off on this field from a year ago, where they took home the $1 million prize. Captain Lucinho with the goal, and then one late in the half from Garay. We are underway in the Premier Soccer Festival. Bombonera opening the competition and breaking the ice on the opening goals of the first 20 minutes. They lead 2-0 over Abarrotera Hidalgo. Neil Sika with you. The highlights from the opening half. You cannot be timid with the passing out of the back, and it led to 20 minutes. And case in point, to bring you up to speed, target score time plays out. Some incredible comebacks from the team that's been in deficit, but there's been nothing deficient about La Bombonera and their play, where they were relative unknowns coming in. Everyone wanted to bring the mystique of the fact that it was this soccer facility in Newcastle, Delaware, but the outsourcing of scouting and the player watch for those who run the facility, and keeping an eye on some of the best indoor and futsal talent around the country, has paid big dividends. Big for the checkbook. Last year with the $1 million prize. Giancarlo Ramirez facing that shot. Back underway here in the second half. And a very pleasant good morning from Field 1 in Cary, North Carolina. 7 fields throughout the competition. Just a giant party scene out across with great food vendors and crowds that will gather in and scatter about and take in whatever game you choose. A good crowd here that is peppered in for the second half. Considering how early the start time was, we've got games that go all the way through 10 p.m. tonight. There's nothing like it when it comes to gathering a global assembly of players across many iterations of the game. Stars old and new, those that are attempting to make a name for themselves. It's got it all. TST. That's a header back in the direction of the Abarrotera Hidalgo goalkeeper, Bernardino Solis. Remember the Monterey Flash, and he'll pick his pass wisely here. Marlon Moreno. Hold-up play for the moment for Hidalgo. 2 and 3 swarm around that ball. You need good hold-up play, but when you've got 2 and 3 in those La Bombonera shirts, they make it look easy, and they get out on the break. Just denying was Solis with a great stop. Irvin Mojica was flying down the wing. Now the fire wagon changes when it comes to the substitution pattern. 4 fresh bodies on for each team. Cesar Ruiz. Mellow the approach. That spacing on the field so critical. And there's a great save from Solis on the turn and fire. Alonso Hernandez let it rip. Illustrious youth international career for Alonso Hernandez. World Cup for the United States in Turkey back in 2013. U20 World Cup, that is. And a pivotal piece for La Bombonera. 6 goals in the tournament last season. Good backtracking and a win of the ball by Miguel Raboya. Raboya is a new addition for La Bombonera, and they're on the trot again. It's a group, even with a lot of the new pieces, felt they were more well-rounded. They look very comfortable so far through the first 24 minutes of this, but that can mean little. You want to build a little bit of breathing room, because even a 1 or 2 goal deficit come target score time can be overcome. Solis already has been thrust into action on a couple of occasions early in this second half for Abarrotera Hidalgo. It's a drifting pass that never worked out in the end. Zuninga, another Kings League player in the Americas. 7-on-7 competition. You'll hear about that league, MASL, a lot throughout the week here in North Carolina. Hunted down with a relentless pressure. Chavita. Game of twister works its way along the far touchline, but the encouragement from the La Bombonera bench. Temperatures scheduled to get into the low 80s today here in Cary, North Carolina. We have 2 games to kick and open the competition here in the 3rd year. The drifted ball across, and the best look of the game for Abarrotera. Hidalgo goes begging. Rare miscue to play out of the back. Now in a scrap at the byline. Morel Juarez had that last shot for Hidalgo, and it was close. They've earned their 2nd corner. They had one late in the first half. That led to the break for La Bombonera to get the 2nd. A little bit of a scrap before the restart. La Bombonera, they snuffed that out. They knew it was coming on that cued pass to the top of the area. There's a slip right on the edge, and that's a foul going on Hidalgo. Zuninga. Look to get him involved for Hidalgo here in the 2nd half. Pressure again before Solis relinquishes. Boya stalking the penalty area. Now here's Popper. Part of the team last year. He had game-winning goal in the quarterfinals against Saturday's last competition, 2024. 3 goals for the run to the championship. Very first window into TST for Abarrotera Hidalgo. Diego Marquez. I'm sure there's a little bit of nerves, especially right away. You see on the slate you've got the winners from last year. The Darlings, and it was the way they played too. Just some beautiful ball in the build-up to the championship. Conversely, that can't be said with the way people feel about the previous winner in 2023 and the style that works for Newtown Pride, but they wear that with a badge of honor. So it will be very interesting to see the reactions to them this year. But that's what makes part of the nostalgia, the mystique. You need heroes and villains and teams that have caught fire. Wrexham, of course, has been hugely supported when they've played here. We've got some of the biggest clubs in the world, a club represented from all 4 of the biggest leagues in the world. Bombonera, massive addition this season. These 2 clubs here to start the tournament also have a heavy dose of Mexican influence. There's a foul, and things are getting a little testy down on the field, if you will. So a yellow card has been issued after that barking of dissent that comes from Araiza. So Araiza was a Pueblo U20 player, and that's the area primarily where a lot of these players are from. You see the width that in the build-up Bombonera provides, and it's quick 1-2 touch passing in field and then right back out, sucking the defense, and then you've got a guy running at the back line from out wide. 7-on-7. knotted out. IOV at 45 years young, spry legs, another corner that's skirted along the byline. And his influence, IOV, and rather pedestrian to put it into the best possible light. There's a feel for it. I see a lot of teams too that will improve from game to game in the competition. It's slung in the middle. Hidalgo providing some reinforcements here. They've scrapped enough to earn enough of these set pieces now. This is their fourth corner of the game. But can they capitalize? Cervantes put it up in the air. Hold up play, Monzonis, who's now running onto it. Monzonis rockets it home. He started it on the defensive end, and this is another transition goal. Monzonis makes it 3-0, La Bombonera. Iovi couldn't get the footwork right. Monzonis just hit a missile right underneath Solis. This has been a professional performance from La Bombonera. Up 3 after 31 minutes. Very important now that Hidalgo can find their way on the board, stay within striking distance. It's Alonso Hernandez. Just a special talent. He's blended really well to the smaller sided game, Alonso Hernandez. One of the leaders of La Bombonera. It's a steered ball with no trouble. Now they look long. Hold up play is good. Good back tackle. Chavita couldn't let it rip. Pressure is strong enough, though, that so Hernandez creating mischief. Solis ends up with it. Abarrotera, Hidalgo. Back up field. Armendariz will carry to the touchline, and down goes Diaz. The whole of his career has pretty much been in Monterrey. Foul after Diaz goes down. It's another set piece opportunity, though, for Hidalgo. This is a way to get back into the game. IOV razors it over. It floated. You'd think if anything's going to generate in the attack, this is the guy, IOV, to do it. Played at Pachuca in Mexico and Monterrey, where he was really in the ascendancy. 13 goals in 174 games played for Rayados. Better come in fit to this thing, this competition. It is a rude awakening for a lot of these players when they realize how much running they've got to take on. Solis, the goalkeeper, came all the way up and had measured it. Ivan Munoz, who's been the goalkeeper here in the second half. La Bombonera is plenty comfortable playing too. In fact, Munoz started the first 3 games of the tournament last year before giving way, and they got hot with Jean-Claude Ramirez in between the sticks for the final 5 games. Chavita, MASL standout with Tacoma Stars. It's a shot from just inside. the halfway line by Mojica. Another player who knows the States well, San Diego Sockers. Like he was laboring a little bit back toward the substitution on the bench. Both teams are ready again to bring on new personnel for the final 5-minute push here in regulation. Once again, a reminder, 40 minutes, 20-minute halves, and then target score time comes into play. Right now, that would be 4. There's a look that drifted kind of innocently enough for Hidalgo. Armendariz missed the mark in the end for the team wearing those hoop pattern shirts, the white and gold. Bombonera in the dark uniforms. IOV, he won a ball at midfield, gives a little bit of promise before it's slammed back the other way. Ronaldinho Solis, bad giveaway. He had to hustle back. There was no one behind him, and Maurizio Tavano would not have been shy. Lucinho, one of the 3 goal scorers today. Out of the joust at midfield, it's Solis inside the final 4 minutes. And the urgency needs to ratchet up from Hidalgo. There's a foul. Solis was looking for the big target man. Thomas Salawar, our referee, makes the call. It's the one thing you can say about Hidalgo in this opening game. They've managed to find a little bit of a gleam through some set pieces. They've had 4 corners, and a couple of dangerous looking free kicks, and this is one of them. After Ariza was already on a caution, was mixing it up again, but this time, from our net cam view, it was plopped down to the sod. Potential big moment here. IOV hit it over. He's had 2 that have essentially had a lot of smoke toward that upper corner, but went over. Trying to apply some pressure on the play out of the back. And the foul comes right on the edge. Back upfield, La Bombonera. Little 1-2 play. Looking to recover. Raboya on the repress. Sent the initial pass through off the wing. Munoz. Up it goes for Tavano. That incising pass. Those are the ones you've got to complete. And it sucks in the defense and leaves a lot of space out wide. IOV. Pardon. That was Jason Segundo Valdez, who was stuck a little bit down low. And the yellow card issued for La Bombonera. Group A action. Inside of 90 minutes till target score time. Zonis, he's got the 3rd goal. The lone one here in this second half. It was 2-0 La Bombonera at halftime. Goal here from Abarrotera. Hidalgo would add to the intrigue heading towards target score time. And that drive in went to Munoz. He makes the save. a heavy rebound. Zonis leads it across, right at the face. Tough angle. That was moments away from being 4, and it started with a big rappel on the save by Munoz. That's what makes Bombonera so good. Right off a rebound or a miss, they're right back upfield, and they're coming again. And this is a beautiful work sequence, and Manzonis missed his second of the second half. A glorious look. There's no stoppage time through the 40 minutes here at the soccer tournament because we have target score time coming up. Manzonis inches away from making it 4. He did have the lone goal in the second half. 3-0 La Bombonera. The target score is 4. So La Bombonera needs 1. And Abarrotera Hidalgo needs 4. If there's a goal, if the goal has not been scored in the course of 3 minutes, a player from each side comes off. At La Bombonera, this is probably a game that is the perfect way to start the repeat effort of the title defense. They've got a scrappy group here from Abarrotera Hidalgo, who's hung in there by most occasions, and they've had a few chances of their own. But the moments of mistakes and the critical moments throughout the game belong to La Bombonera, and it separated them 3-0. Always important too to get off to the good start in your group. And Abarrotera Hidalgo, we were showing some of the scores. Liga Foot 7, there was that dissension between those who ran both. You see the scores. Mississauga Dolphins, who have been known for some incredible comebacks, they were down 3-1. That's now 3-2. And those scores that flash across the top right corner of your screen. Plymouth Argyle is a new club in the field, formerly of the English Championship and now England League One. Here's an explanation of the rules to the goalkeepers in Munoz and Solis. But there's also a rivalry, maybe some scoreboard watching with Hidalgo, keeping an eye on Liga Foot 7 is doing. That's going to be a matchup that should be must-see in Group A for the remainder of this 2025 edition. Away we go in target score time. Cervantes back to Solis. Abarrotera Hidalgo needs 4. Going to get it all in one fell swoop too. There's this element to Solis's game. He's not gun shy. He'll pull the trigger if he needs to on a shot. Once again, the emphasis this year, he can move the ball like he is. You can't sit on it though. You have to play progressive passes after 8 seconds. It's the bigger wrinkle added to the rules this season. This little up, back, and through, and then the cutback. They call for a handball. Abarrotera Hidalgo adamant that that went off of an arm there inside the penalty area. That's a nice sequence. Manzonis has the corner come right to him. Andy Arnold, Las Cruces, New Mexico, was the one in the thick of that defensive play and maneuvered it up the sideline. Ivan Munoz came on in the second half for Jean-Claude Ramirez. Play starts out of the back for La Bombonera, needing 1 to take game 1 here in Group A. A tough angle out of the Half attempt at a volley. Iovi was tracking that well on the shot from Gaito. Options to scan. It's back to Solis. It's the ground. La Bombonera will cover in their own defensive half. It's impressive work. And oftentimes it's the plays made defensively that lead to the chances the other way, because you overcommit numbers, something breaks down. That's a similar pattern that Abarrotera Hidalgo went with to begin here in target score time. 10 more seconds and then we'll whittle it down to 6v6. Play all the way to 2v2. That's when the excitement will really ratchet up. The field gets a little bit bigger. Lucio Hernandez's back pass puts a halt, so a player comes off from each team, and we go 6v6. Target score is 4. La Bombonera led after 2 minutes. They scored in the final 2 minutes of the first half. Manzoni's adding the third goal in the second half. Pinch pass to the middle. Not there for the pony, Javier Gallegos. After the foul, Hidalgo. Once players start coming off from each way, this is where you see. Now Solis has not been shy coming forward, but goalkeepers getting more involved in the field play. Just adding another number for personnel in the attacking half. So often the strategy goes. That's a good little 1-2 and a clearance right out of the thicket. Bombonera will settle things down. Mojica recalibrates. Now a look over the top. Alonso Hernandez. 1v4. Pull it on back for Gallegos. Here's Pony. Mojica. Munoz. Two-time champion with Chihuahua Savage, his goalkeeper in the MASL. Measured approach upfield. Alonso Hernandez. Now for Mojica. Bell cows are out there for La Bombonera. We're inside of a minute until we go down to 5v5. Mojica turns out of some traffic. Hold-up play was not there from Garay. Garay's got one of the three. Garay comes back. Iovi. Key intervention there for Abarrotera Hidalgo in their tournament debut. And while they haven't scored, they've given the defending champs at least something to think about on a few occasions. There's not been the ruthlessness yet in the attack. They've shown some promising signs at times. Iovi, little 1-2, and now things get a little more interesting. Hidalgo is on the board. And the goal smashed in by Villa. Daniel Villa has made it 3-1. see, talk them up, and then they come through. I've said it on a few occasions, the catalyst has to be Iovi. He just missed on that ball, but it fell kindly. Daniel Villa. He's a mini national all-MASL player with the Monterrey Flash. Mini national club for Mexico at the international level, but someone with the Harrisburg Heat, Paso Coyotes. Hidalgo has a pulse. 5v5 now. Munoz. Champai will switch the field of play. Now they come back across the grain for Lucinho. Captain. Everyone patterned out at this point, especially defensively. A lot of this becomes 1v1 situations. Who accounts for this goalkeeper in Munoz, who's going to come forward, bring it along for Champai. Champai hits it off of Solis. It's a corner. So a goal here in target score time from Hidalgo. Munoz trotted along again. That was the first shot in target score time for La Bombonera. Good pass, it got through all the way for Champai. Solis, clutch stop, keeps the game alive. Diving to his left, he's had some big ones. Ronaldinho Solis. You can see a little bit of the energy, the urgency starting to come back into Abarrotera Hidalgo. They called that foul. They didn't call that foul. They said it was a dive. And Ryzen needs to be careful, of course. He was looking for the hold-up play. He's on a yellow. They take the restart quickly. There's a foul. Is it inside the box? Is it out? It's a red card. It's a denying of a goal-scoring opportunity. Gallegos, the pony, got in behind. And that tackle of the last man. Marlon Moreno, who's known as Escoto, is sent off. We're already 5v5. You can see it's a window there for Pony to break on in. And the foul, which comes right outside the penalty area. I believe that's where it was whistled. Now we do have to go down to 4v4, but in this case it will be 4v3 because of the red card. And in a scenario where if we ever got down to, say, 2v2, you can go 2v1 if there was a red card situation, so it would be 3v2. But we're not there yet. So the plot thickens with the twists and the turns. Hidalgo scored here in target score time, and now they've just had a player sent off, Marlon Moreno. Solis with a little conversation here. Walter Iovi, where's the armband? Valdez is out there along with Rios. Perez, the GM. Then you got Moises Velasco, Marlon Trejo, who handle the coaching duties for La Bombonera, the defending champs. 9 minutes already here in target score time. It was just outside the penalty area, that foul. So a 4-on-3 situation here. Target score is 4. Hidalgo has brought up the intrigue with a goal here in target score time, but now hanging by a thread. Got the free kick. Which will gather back across. Popper. Here's the veteran, Carlos Hernandez. Scrapes it along, Miguel Felix. Well, that whole time, they called for a player for each team to come off again. Yes. So now we're 3v2. Bombonera having to sweat a little bit more maybe than they bargained for after leading 3-0 heading into target score time. The game on their boots right now. It's Papa Hernandez against Valdez. Solis with his two defenders out there. 45-year-old IOV. There's Popper. Felix. .35-year-old back to Felix. This is just scan and get the defense to shift. Hope to create a crevice if you're La Bombonera. Felix. Suspense is high. Popper. Felix. It's over. Solis back to Popper. Popper works to Felix. That's great recovery by Solis, and IOV, and the pass slips under the leg of Pony Gallegos. There looked to be two windows to shoot there for La Bombonera. A little too pedestrian. That's a credit for Valdez and IOV. We're working back and forth across the penalty area. It's Pony. Exercise and patience. IOV in a standstill. Here's Pony. Pony still. Solis. Wiper blades it out. It's a corner. Really commendable job here by Abarrotera Hidalgo. They bring on fresh subs. Take the restart quickly from the flag. Popper and Pony carrying the play right now for La Bombonera. In search of the finishing blow here in game one. IOV needed a breather. It's Pony, Popper. Hika's over there. He's there to slam the door shut on a La Bombonera opening win. Patience and precision. Irvin Mojica, a 4-goal scorer in 2024. His first of the competition. And La Bombonera, like they did at this time last year with 4 goals on this field. They concede one. The Golden Fleece belongs to Mojica. Making also a little bit of history, potentially the first or one of the first 2 Golden Fleece winners. And Mojica, who's one of the headline names for this La Bombonera group, wins it 4-1 here in Group A to start their title defense. They looked every bit professional club who came in and took the tournament by storm last season. A strong win over a scrappy and cagey bunch from Abarrotera Hidalgo, who held their own and made things interesting in target score time.